His brow furrowed as he observed the two images in front of him, prompting him to hastily check their medical charts for their blood work. The situation didn't seem to make sense. Brianna and her sister, Brittany, observed with growing concern as the doctor's eyes widened further and further in disbelief. Suddenly, he looked at them with something resembling fear. Banadine and her twin sister, Brittany, shared a special bond that surpassed that of most twins. They were exceptionally close. But when it came to their dating lives, they preferred to keep their love lives private until they were certain. It was serious. A notable example was Brittany's love for flying, while Bonna harbored a deep fear of it, making vacations quite a challenge. Banna bumped into her future husband, Josh Salers, at a twins festival in Twinsburg, Ohio. Josh also had a twin, Jeremy. Brittany and Jeremy casually chatted as sparks flew between Brianna and Josh. Love blossomed, and it was time to tell Brittany that Brianna had found the one. However, Brittany had her own secret to reveal. Brianna watched her sister's face transform into shock and awe as she disclosed her relationship with Josh Salers. The reaction became clearer when Brittany returned the favor and revealed that she had been dating Josh's twin brother, Jeremy. The girls dreamed of a future with white weddings and all four of them living together in the same house. But before their fairy tale could unfold, there was something they needed to address: a visit to the doctor. All they initially wanted was to consult with a midwife. But family pressure led them to visit a bland office that exuded the smell of disinfectant. Places like these had always been associated with receiving bad news. When the doctor walked in wearing a slight frown, their hearts started to race. Was it bad news? Given that Brianna and her sister were in their late 30s. Uncertainty filled the room. They decided to undergo a fertility check as a precaution. But when they informed the doctor that they were dating identical twins, they were shocked by the doctor's response. Despite being fertile, the doctor warned them against starting a family with their unorthodox partners. However, Brittany and Bonna wouldn't listen. They got married together, bought a house to live in together, and everything seemed to be going great. However, deep within the corners of Brianna's mind, all she could think of was the doctor's stark warning. Soon, they were both pregnant. And the amazing news was quickly countered with an unpleasant reality. Bonna tried to ignore the feeling that something wasn't quite right about all this. Brittany was 3 months pregnant when she suffered a miscarriage. And with Brianna 4 weeks behind her, she feared the same fate. After an anxious wait, it was as predicted. Brianna followed in her sister's footsteps and had a miscarriage at exactly the same time frame. It was a devastating loss. But it didn't discourage them. In less than half a year, Brianna and Brittany found themselves pregnant again. This time, the pregnancies were smooth, and their checkups with their doctor were more frequent. However, they faced another warning. The doctor sat across from their group and said, "Ladies, I thought I told you to come and talk to me before you decided to start a family." Bonna felt the hairs on the back of her neck stand up in anger, insisting that the doctor had informed their mother. He shook his head and pulled out a folder containing her and Brittany's medical history. He used words like testing, health, prenatal preparation, and a bunch of other medical jargon. Bonna tightened the grip on her husband's hand. Who was he to say they shouldn't have kids now? She was about to express her frustration when the next piece of news was heartbreaking. The doctor explained that due to their past genetic problems and pending tests on their husbands, there was a chance that both she and her sister's baby could have the same defective genetic issues passed down to them. It's obviously your body and your choice. The doctor said. I just wish you would have come here so we could have prepared better. All we can do is watch closely and be careful. Babies might have been a grab bag of genetic materials. But their pairing of identical twins created an entirely different set of odds. The doctor remarked. He then looked at their scans. And his eyes popped as he took in the two images he held in his hands. Racing over to their medical charts to find their blood work. Brianna and her sister watched with growing concern as the doctor's eyes darted across their scans and test documents. What was he seeing? The doctor grabbed a chair and sat next to the twins as he explained what the test results were beginning to show. The unknown made him most nervous for them. Although Brianna's and Brittany's babies were from two different fathers and two different mothers, they were only, respectively, cousins. Genetically speaking, Bonna and Brittany's children, current or future, as long as they remained with their spouses, would always be full biological siblings to each other, even though they would have different parents. For an OB, this is like winning the lottery, it's really that rare, said their doctor. And for the couples, winning the lottery was exactly what this discovery felt like. 8 months and 2 weeks later, Brianna was the first to go into labor. Despite the high risk, she cried with joy as she learned that both babies were perfectly healthy. They had won the DNA lottery and wouldn't have to suffer as they had. However, as they held their tiny infants, they both agreed that they would check with a doctor before having another. Bonna and Brittany, as well as their husbands, were thrilled to know that their children were going to be siblings. Especially as they would be growing up in a house with 4 parents anyway. But not everyone was as happy as the twins once they found out about their unique story. Reporters and journalists raced to interview them, which they accepted. However, the news spread fast. And so did conflicting opinions. TLC realized what a unique situation the Dean sisters' wedding was, and aired the entire documentary of the twins' wedding ceremony titled Our Twinsane Wedding. The wedding's theme was Twice Upon a Time, and the identical twin couples were even married by identical twin ministers. Finding and marrying another identical twin is a rare occurrence, making the story of the Dean sisters and Saller brothers a captivating tale for many news and TV viewers. In interviews, people often inquire whether the couples have ever been mixed up or kissed the wrong twin. However, the girls are prompt in setting the record straight, such mix-ups have never occurred. Brittany even expressed that it's strange for people to entertain such thoughts. Brittany and Brianna are eager to contribute to raising their children as a multi-parent unit. Yet, their plans go beyond this. They intend to synchronize their pregnancies, a venture requiring meticulous planning and a stroke of luck down to the last detail. These two pairs seem destined to be following the birth of their babies. The quartet was overjoyed. Everything seemed to align perfectly. And the two pairs of twins appeared fated for each other from the moment they were born. Perhaps this alignment of destinies explains why Brittany naturally gravitated to Jeremy, and Brianna to Josh. It's as if they instinctively knew which twin felt most akin to them. While this might seem too perfect to believe if read in a book, it's the reality they've lived. The stars had to align for this extraordinary journey to unfold. I get to marry the man of my dreams. And at the same time, I get to look over next to me and see my twin and sister marrying the man of her dreams, Brittany remarked in an interview. The odds of such an extraordinary situation occurring are undeniably astounding. For the Saller couples, this was the realization of all their childhood dreams. The story of these intertwined lives stands as a testament to The magic that can happen when fate, love, and serendipity come together in a rare and beautiful harmony. Let's enjoy a similar story. Unable to conceive. Emily and her partner, David, made the heartfelt decision to adopt. As they explored their options, one girl at the orphanage stood out due to a birthmark on her hand that strikingly resembled Emily's. Viewing it as a sign too significant to ignore, they felt a deep connection with this little girl named Sophie. Little did they know that this decision would lead to a shocking discovery. Initially hesitant about adoption, Emily harbored concerns about feeling like a glorified babysitter. Despite her reservations, David convinced her to visit an orphanage and explore the possibility. Most children there were already over 3 years old, intensifying Emily's uncertainty. However, everything changed when she locked eyes with Sophie, a quietly suffering little girl with an inexplicable allure. Sophie's story unfolded as the orphanage assistant shared details. Abandoned anonymously at the orphanage when she was just a year old, Sophie had spent 2.5 years there without any prospective adoptive parents. Emily couldn't explain the sudden connection she felt with Sophie, but it was undeniable. Struggling to comprehend the depth of this newfound emotion, Emily found herself almost forcefully grabbing Sophie's hand during their meeting. In that moment, a startling revelation unfolded. Sophie had a unique birthmark on her hand, identical to the one on Emily's. Staring at their hands side by side, the resemblance was uncanny. The emotional impact was profound, and the connection between Emily and Sophie seemed to go beyond mere chance. This discovery fueled Emily's desire to explore the familial bond with Sophie on a deeper level. Driven by curiosity and a sense of destiny, Emily decided to undergo a DNA test. The results would not only unlock the mystery behind their shared birthmark but also unravel a shocking truth that would redefine their understanding of family. As Emily awaited the test results, a mix of anticipation and anxiety filled the air. When the doctor emerged with the DNA test results, his expression betrayed the gravity of the news. Emily sensed that something significant had been unveiled, and a wave of apprehension washed over her. The revelation contained in those results would not only challenge their preconceptions but also lead them down an unexpected path of self-discovery and connection. The discovery of Sophie's identical birthmark left Emily in disbelief. Its striking resemblance to her own birthmark seemed too uncanny to be a mere coincidence. The realization dawned on both Emily and David simultaneously, and the unspoken agreement passed between them: adopting Sophie was the only way. The orphanage readily agreed to initiate the adoption process, and Emily and David eagerly awaited bringing Sophie into their family. The excitement escalated as the procedure unfolded smoothly. Within a remarkably brief span of 2 weeks, Sophie seamlessly integrated into her new home. To commemorate Sophie's arrival, the family organized an elaborate welcome home party. The festive occasion saw the joyful gathering of both sides of the family, showering Sophie with attention. It marked a monumental moment for the parents of Emily and David, as they reveled in the fulfillment of their long-standing wish to become grandparents. Despite the celebration, David's sister, recovering from a tumultuous period of substance abuse and addiction, posed a potential challenge. Exiled by her family until achieving sobriety, Emily harbored reservations about completely trusting her. David, on the contrary, ardently advocated for giving his sister a chance, causing a subtle tension in the couple's dynamics. Emily, working part-time, assumed the role of the primary caregiver, spending significant time with Sophie. In contrast, David, Engaged in a well-paying full-time job. Provided financial support. As time passed since Sophie's adoption, Emily felt a disheartening stagnation in her connection with the young girl. Despite an initial instant bond, Sophie displayed an unexpected shyness toward Emily. A stark contrast to her comfort with David. Another source of Emily's concern was Sophie's rapid and seemingly predictable bonding with David's family. Unlike Emily's side, Sophie demonstrated a preference for spending time with David's parents and sister. Emily couldn't help but dwell on the disparities. The growing unease within her intensified, prompting persistent thoughts about David withholding something crucial. As Emily grappled with her internal turmoil, the possibility loomed: what if Sophie was David's biological child from a previous relationship? The mere contemplation of this scenario raised questions about trust and transparency in their marriage. Emily found herself unable to shake off the feeling that David was keeping a significant secret. The idyllic picture of their newfound family was cast in shadow as Emily navigated the complexities of her emotions and suspicions. The unspoken concerns lingered, challenging the foundation of trust and understanding between Emily and David. Doubts about David and Sophie's biological connection weighed heavily on Emily's mind, intensifying her need for clarity. Despite her attempts to discuss the matter with David, he consistently rebuffed her, deepening Emily's suspicions. Fueled by her growing uncertainty, Emily devised a plan to discreetly conduct a DNA test. With meticulous care, Emily collected a saliva sample from David while he was asleep, taking swift and calculated steps to avoid detection. Her careful approach extended to gathering a sample from Sophie, ensuring the process remained undetected by the sleeping child. Relieved that her covert operation had succeeded without waking either David or Sophie, Emily took the samples to the hospital the next day for testing. Anticipation and anxiety mingled as Emily awaited the results. The phone call from Dr. Matthew's secretary set her heart pounding, signaling the moment of truth. The doctor requested an in-person meeting to discuss the results. And Emily, apprehensive yet determined, secured an appointment on the same day. In the hospital, Emily's emotions ran high as she opened the folder containing the test results. Disbelief washed over her, the implications seemed inconceivable. Questions swirled in her mind as she glanced at the doctor, seeking an explanation. The nod from Dr. Matthews confirmed the validity of the results, leaving Emily grappling with a whirlwind of anger, sadness, and a profound sense of betrayal. Grateful for the doctor's understanding, Emily left the hospital with the evidence clutched in her hands. She needed tangible proof for the impending confrontation with David, should he attempt to dismiss her concerns once again. Returning home, Emily found David sitting at the kitchen table. His casual demeanor clashed with the storm brewing within her, suppressing the urge to reveal the damning results immediately. Emily chose to bide her time for a more opportune moment. As David inquired about her demeanor, Emily, seething with frustration, demanded the truth about Sophie. David's response was a weary sigh, suggesting a wearisome repetition of this discussion. He insisted that Emily and Sophie needed more time together, a response that failed to assuage Emily's mounting concerns. The impending confrontation loomed, and Emily, armed with irrefutable evidence, prepared to challenge David about the shocking revelation. The fragile foundation of trust in their relationship teetered on the brink, leaving Emily grappling with the weight of the truth she was about to unveil. The moment Emily confronted David with the DNA test results was charged with tension. Initially turning away, David froze as Emily accused him of lying, pleading innocence. He asked her to clarify. His face drained of color. Emily, resolute, retrieved the folder from her bag. Unveiling the irrefutable evidence, the DNA test confirmed that David wasn't Sophie's biological father. Stunned, David stammered, attempting to comprehend the damning revelation. Emily, in an emotional whirlwind, proceeded to show him the test results. The match between Sophie's DNA and the unknown father's. The gravity of the situation unfolded. And David, though implicated, eventually opened up to Emily, recounting the entire story from its inception. Hours passed as they delved into the intricacies of David's actions. Emily, despite her anger, chose to believe him. David, desperate to salvage their relationship, pleaded with her not to leave. Though Emily refrained from making any promises, David confessed to fabricating the birthmark on Sophie's hand, strategically placing it before their visit to the orphanage, hoping it would convince Emily. The revelation shattered Emily's trust, intensifying her desire to confront David's parents and sister about their complicity in the deceit. Her suspicions about their knowledge deepened when, after confronting them, Emily discovered the extent of their involvement. Sophie was indeed related to David, she was his sister's daughter, struggling with addiction. David's sister had given Sophie up for adoption. David's parents, eager to have their first granddaughter in their lives, devised the plan for Emily and David to adopt her. Though David wasn't initially on board with the plan, familial obligations prevailed, and he acquiesced to his parents' wishes. Meanwhile, David's sister expressed immense gratitude for the chance to reconnect with her daughter. While David acknowledged his role in the deception, he wished he had been honest with Emily from the outset. With the truth now laid bare, Sophie returned to live with her biological mother. Emily and David, committed to salvaging their marriage, sought the guidance of a marriage counselor. Encouraging signs began to emerge, hinting at a potential path to reconciliation. However, the couple decided not to pursue having children of their own, opting for a contented life as a duo. Despite the tumultuous journey, Emily and David aimed for a happily ever after, navigating the complexities of forgiveness, trust, and the aftermath of the intricate web of deception that had entwined their lives.